What's everybody doing out there? I want to make a short little video here. I rebuilt this Chrysler engine a couple years back. Went through everything, new seals, you know, the whole 9 yards. I took the power head and everything off, put a new gasket underneath of it, new gaskets throughout the motor, I mean, you name it, I did it. I went through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. Well, my comb missed something. New belt on the distributor, cleaned the carbs. Anyway, so ran like a top last season, 2020. 2021 we took it out, you know, quite a few times, and then it didn't have any trouble. And then all of a sudden it started developing a little miss. It sounded like it was going, and then it seemed like it in idle and low speed, like in gear when you're just putting through a no wake, it would start sputtering. And it seemed like it'd go low RPM, high RPM, like it was losing a cylinder once in a while. Like one of the cylinders stopped firing for maybe 10, 15 seconds, then it'd start again. So we were out fishing, and when I got dropped off at the ramp, we went on a camping trip. I hardly could get the thing to start. I started using a can of ether the last few trips out when I was taking the boys' tube, and you'd get a little sputter here and there. When you go full throttle, it would go about half throttle, then it'd kick in, then it'd slow down, then it'd kick in, then it'd take off, and you'd run fine. Seemed like the warmer it was, the better. So I thought, man, I got something amiss with this motor, and I need to get it figured out. So I got dropped off the boat ramp, almost couldn't get it started. Even ether was having trouble starting it, starting fluid. So we take it to the cove, we end up getting it started, we go fishing. And we went to start it while we was out on the lake, and I got nothing. Couldn't get it started for nothing. Ether was no help. So I'm like, all right, we'll troll back to the cove, you know, fishing's done for the weekend. And I took the cover off and just, you know, just was looking around to see if I could see anything noticeable while we was out on the lake. And I noticed this. I got a little burn hole right there on the coil. So I'm like, okay, something's not right. Well, while I was leaning back over it, I rotated the flywheel a little bit, and I could hear a pop, you know, a spark pop. And it wasn't coming from the plug area. I thought maybe, you know, something was arcing. It was coming from here. So I thought, wow. So when I went to pull it off, all right, this is how it was. I just wiggled the boot and it came off. Well, when I looked down inside of here, all I seen was black. A lot of carbon buildup. You can see where that boot has been burnt in there. There's a hole through it. I thought, well, my plug wire is not connected very well. Because I was thinking about putting all new wiring on it, plug wires, when I was having this trouble a couple weeks ago. So I wasn't sure how this connected, so I'm like, well, so we trolled back to the cove. Oh, it took half hour, no big deal. And I get out in waist deep water at the cove, and I pull this thing off, and I'm like, all right, so I can't really tell what's going on. I thought the wire was burnt. So I slid the boot down, like so, and I noticed it has a piece of metal on there. It's like a wing tab that's been crimped into the wire. So I thought, well, if that's all it is, I mean, it was literally just barely into that boot. So I got a fillet knife and I cleaned that off. And it's actually, if you look, it's supposed to be, you can see the IONAL. It goes clear up in there to the only thing you see is the L. And that thing was literally down here. So I had been running on this thing, possibly since I rebuilt it a year ago, with the spark just jumping the gap. And it finally built up enough carbon on that metal piece that it couldn't find a place to arc, so it was kind of just shooting around here and there and to the sides of it, and it burned a hole in there. So I realized that snapped in there, so I snapped it in, and had Miss Complainer go up to the key and hit it, and this thing fired right up. Hasn't died since. It ran like a top. I mean, you can hit the key here in the yard. I'll hit it here real quick. All right, I'm up at the key here. As you can see. So anybody out there still got these old Chryslers or these old engines with these coils, make sure you check that once in a while, especially if you're having little issues. Sorry, I've been drinking soda, I'm burping. So if you haven't been having little ignition issues, check that and clean that. What I did is just now I took some sandpaper and really polished that off clean, and I put some electrical connection grease, bulb grease on there, just to keep it from getting corroded, and snapped it up in there. So what I plan on doing now is getting a little bicycle tire patch, and I'm going to just put a little patch over that hole, just so it's sealed up to protect, keep bugs and stuff out of there. But yeah, that really fixed my problem. So I just thought I'd make a quick video of that. You know, everybody's always searching on YouTube for stuff, why a Chrysler motor's not firing, why it's misfiring. So if you come up on this video, guys, check that. And yeah, that really, I mean, I took it out Sunday, and I went down to the cove to start it up, to trailer it, to come home, and I mean, there was no warm up, no choke. I mean, well, I choked it, but I mean, I hit the key and bam, right out of a cold start, fired right up. Went out into the middle of the cove and put my cover on my bimini top and whatnot. Never died once. Went to the trailer, waited on Miss Complainer to get the trailer backed in, and the thing never died once. So it's running like it did last year, probably even better now. It comes out of the hole way better now that that's in there. You get way more jump to it. Yeah, just a common little mistake, man. Just something you overlook once in a while, because I had all this stuff off, painted the motor, the whole 9 yards, had all this apart. This thing really looked brand new inside, even for being a 1976, but cleaned everything up, and I just missed that. I just missed that connection. I never actually unplugged these two parts. I did take the coil loose, but I never did pull this out, and I painted that. But yeah, I just missed it. Just one little thing, and turned out to be a big issue. But it was a quick fix. Alright guys, hope you enjoy these repair videos. Later out.